नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। लाली नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। नमो नमः श्री नमो गुरुपाद पापान्धकारार्क परं पराभ्यां तापत्रयाभ्यां समाधिदानं दीक्षिताभ्यां माधवाङ्गे स्थिरभ्रां नमः श्री गुरुपाद श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् अखिलेशदाभ्याम् साक्षधुरन्धराभ्याम् प्रदपूजनाभ्याम् नमो नमः श्रीपादुकाभ्याम् नमो पादुकाभ्याम् विवेकवैरानिधि प्रदात्मा बोधकृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां।
मीराबाई गाती है, गुचरण प्रीत मोरी लागी रे। अनादिकाल से जीव अविद्य अथ श्री तोटकाष्टकम।
विदिताखिल शास्त्र सुधा जलधि महितोपनिषत्कथितात्मिके हृदये तये विमलं चरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् करुणावरुणालय पालय मां भवसागर दुःखविदूरहृदं रचयाखिल दर्शन तत्त्वविदं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निज बोध विचारण चारुमते कलेश्वर जीव विवेक विदं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् भव एव भवानिति मे नितरां समजायत चेतसि कौतुकिता मम वारय मोहमहाजलधिं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् सपदे विकृते बहुधा भवतु भविता समदर्शन लालसता अतिदीनमिमं नय मां भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् जगतीमभितुं गलिता कृतयो विचरन्ति महामहसच्छलतः अहिमांशुरिवाक्यविभासि गुरो भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् पुङ्गव पुङ्गव कीर्तनते समतामयतां नहि कोऽपि सुधि शरणागत वत्सल तत्त्वनिधे भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् विदितान मया विशदैककला न च किञ्चन काञ्चनमस्ति गुरो धृतमेव विधेहि कृपां सहजां भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम्
अथ श्री गुरु प्रातः स्मरण स्तोत्रम्। प्रातः स्मरामि गुरुतत्त्वमखण्डबोधम् श्रोत्रं श्रुतेरथमनो मनसो गिरो वाक् चक्षुर्न वागपि मनोऽपि न भासयेद्यद्भान्तं त्वमेव मनुभाति चराचरं वै।
भजामि गुरुरूपमनन्तमूलम् यल्लेशलेशतकिमि नरदेवदैत्याः धन्यायतिश्च लभते परिशान्तचित्तेनैव मोहितमहो भुवनं समग्रम्। प्रातर्नमामि चरणं हि गुरोस्तु सत्यं यन्मूलजीवनलया निखिला हि लोकाः एकं हि यत्र बहुनास्ति पुरापि बोधात् तस्मिन् विकल्पितमयं जगदीश्वरो हि। प्रातर्वदामि गुरुनाम भवाब्धिनौकम् अज्ञानतज्जहरणं भजतां जनानां माङ्गल्यधाम सततं परिकीर्तनीयम् नाम्ना वशी भवति येन सदैव नामी। प्रातर्जपामि गुरुमन्त्रममोघशक्तिं विच्छेदयञ्जनिमृति अघनाशकारी त्रायेत यश्च मननाद्रतिपूर्वकाणां प्रीतो ददाति हि गुरुः खलु बुद्धियोगम्। ध्यायाम्यहं परमदक्षिणमूर्तिदेवं सच्चित्सुखं गुरुवरं पुरुषं च पूर्णं चिन्मुद्रया मुनिगिरा विदितं दिशन्तं तस्मै समर्पितमिदं स्तवनं प्रभाते। गुरुपादाम्बुजं ध्यात्वा नत्वा भक्त्या पठेन्नरः पुण्यं स्तोत्रमिदं प्रातः गुरुस्तस्य प्रसीदति। ज्ञानामृताभिषेकेण दृष्टारं दर्शयत्यथ श्रद्धामेधायुतो विद्वान् जीवन्मुक्तो भवत्यलम् जीवन्मुक्तो भवत्यलम् जीवन्मुक्तो भवत्यलम्।
अथ श्रीमच्छंकराचार्य नामावलिः।
जय जय शंकर लोक गुरो जय शुभ मंगल लोक गुरो भवहर शंकर भुवन गुरो जय शुभ मंगल जगद्गुरो श्रीमत् शंकर रूप गुरो कामित वितरण लोक गुरो विबुध प्राचित लोक गुरो अबुध मदान्ध सुदीप गुरो कलिबाधित संताप गुरो कालयुद्धव लोक गुरो निजवर शिव गुरु पुत्र गुरो निज धर्मांगामुदित गुरो शैशव चित्त चरित्र गुरो शिष्याद्यवर गणेज्य गुरो व्याजांचित नर भाव गुरो नैज प्रतिभोल्लास गुरो अधीत वेद विनोद गुरो सुधांशु सुंदर वदन गुरो सकल श्रुति मत दक्ष गुरो शुक मुख सन्नुत भाव गुरो निखिलागम कमलार्थ गुरो सुख बोधित सकलार्थ गुरो मातृभक्ति परिपूर्ण गुरो श्रोतृ जनाद्भुत चरित गुरो श्रुति सम्मत यति वेश गुरो सतत विचिंतित ब्रह्म गुरो गोविंदाथ सुबोध गुरो आनंद गुरो विरचित भाष्य बुद्धेय गुरो निरुपम प्रतिभोल्लास गुरो काशी यात्रा सत्य गुरो ईश भक्ति परिपूर्ण गुरो सनंदनाद्य विवंद्य गुरो सुनंदिताखिल शिष्य गुरो
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ नमो भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनः दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। प्रणम्य रामाभिधमा गुरात्मधीपदम् जगत्प्रसूतिस्थितिसंयमायनम् तदात्मकान् शङ्करपूर्वकान् गुरून् मयोपदेशात् सर्वाय उच्यते In the last discussion, in the passage 76, Tatraha, with reference to that, the Shishya said, so the teacher said that Atma is of the nature of Upalabdhi, meaning of the nature of perception, and perceives everything simultaneously. The perceiver of a class different from the sense organs in the mind, which can perceive one thing at a time, one state at a time, only a part of a thing. As compared to that, Atma illumines everything. Because illumination of Atma is not limited by the sense organ. Sense organ is limitation. It can only objectify what is within. Eyes can only objectify the colors. Ears can objectify the sounds. Within that also they can perceive within the limits of frequency, wavelengths, etc. So this is well known. Also mind also can think of one object at a time, not more than one thing at a time. Even though it may feel mind is thinking of so many things, it jumps quickly and so it looks like you're thinking of three things at a time, but mind also can think of one thing at a time. Sense organs can also perceive one thing at a time and can only perceive what is in present. Eyes cannot perceive what is in the past, understand? Otherwise, a lot of problems would have been solved. Whether Shankaracharya was there or not, whether he wrote this or not, whether Gita, whatever it is. Suppose eyes could see, mind could think of the past. No, not think. If mind could perceive what it happened in the past, sense organs could perceive what was in the past or what will be in the future, then things would have been different, but that's not so. We can only perceive what is in the present and also the limited part of what we perceive. And thus there are limitations of our sense organs and mind. That's fine. That's one kind of perception which takes place only in the present of the part of an object and also depending upon the capacity and the innocence or the faultlessness of the organ of perception. None of these limitations are there in Atma, there is consciousness, because it is nirvishesha. It is not opposed to anything. Therefore, it illumines past, present, future, everything simultaneously. That being the case, even though Atma is upalabdha, Atma is a witness or the perceiver, it does not suffer from the change that a perceiver takes place in. Therefore, in spite of Atma being perceiver, that perceiver is a consciousness which doesn't require to change to perceive. The eyes should undergo a change to perceive that object. As the color changes, there is a corresponding change in the perceiver. Similarly, also a corresponding change in the mind. So sense organs and mind are perceivers. But they should constantly undergo change. If they don't undergo change, perception will not take place. If mind remains what it is, then it cannot jump from one object to another. Then we can't, we cannot properly grasp anything. So it is necessary that sense organs and the mind should jump from one object to the other for the vyavahara to take place. But in that sense, Atma also is perceiver. But without having to undergo any change, even when the change happens in what is perceived, the perceiver that eyes are and mind is, those perceivers should change for them to function. Whereas perceiver that Atma is, consciousness is, doesn't require to undergo any change to illumine them. You follow? Eyes can illumine it, assume the form of that object. You say eyes illumine the color of form, so eyes assume the form, then assume the form. So when these perceivers assume the form of what is perceived, then the perception takes place. Consciousness does not require to assume any form for illumination, for perception to take place. Therefore, so Pratyanam Asheshatah Upalabdhe. He said that the Atma or the consciousness, Pratyanam Ashe, undergoing any change. What is to eliminate? The whole point is that in case of sense organs and the mind, which are examples of the perceivers, which we find have to undergo a change to illumine the corresponding object, or to illumine the object, then we can eliminate. If the mind does not take the form of part, you don't know the part. You are looking at the part. Perception doesn't take place. So mind should assume the form of part for the part perception to take place. And the eye if that does not happen, then you need help. If there's some difficulty with the eyes or with the mind, you don't see things as they are, then that is called the dosha, the defect, the object, in the pramana, in the means of perception. But normally, so this is one kind of perceiver. So contrasting that, the kind of perceiver that Atma is, we don't have any illustration for that. Therefore, a contrasting illustration is given. So look at the perceivers that we have in terms of sense organ and mind, how they always undergo a change for the perception to take place, whereas Atma or consciousness is a perceiver, illuminator. Atma, consciousness, illumines its objects without the need to undergo any change. Therefore, atah kurasthata eva tava. So he, your Atma, your consciousness, ever kutastha, you are changeless. So this was explained, this was understood also. But the Shishya takes the word upalabdha because, as we say, that every word conveys something, and every word will always convey something that is limited. No word can convey limitless. Therefore, to point out everything, you can use the word Atma, for example, Any word you have to use. And every word will create concept in our mind. So Atma will create the concept of I. So perceiver will also create concept. Because we know what perceiver is. Our knowledge of the words comes from our vyavahara. So we interpret a word based on our present pool of knowledge, let us say. So when somebody is a perceiver, then we are familiar with perceivers. Who are the sense organs? Again the mind. So we are familiar with perceivers. So when the word perceiver is used, automatically we would apply whatever understanding we have perceiver to that Atma also is called Upalabdha. Now, how will you call Atma? How will you point out? How will you describe? You use some word. Says no word can describe Atma as it is. Some word has to be close, which then the Vedanta says that by Lakshana Vritti, that the Vachyartha, which means limitation. A word communicates meaning always of something that is limited, because that's what a word is meant for. Word should not mean limitless, or you will not know anything, you see. Just as sense organs also should object, to illumine their object one at a time. That's what they should do. Mind also should do that. And word also should do that. Nothing wrong in it. If word did not give a given meaning of a limited object, you cannot visualize in the mind anyway. Because if word means limitless, then you don't know what it means. Mind cannot visualize limitless. So everything is fine as they are. Then only Vyavahara can take place, then only we can live our life and do what we. But now we want to know something that is not part of Vyavahara. Avyavaharyam. The Atma self does not come into Vyavahara at all. You can't talk to it. Ashabdam, asparsham, rasam, agandham, tatha. So like this, it cannot be seen, cannot be tasted, it cannot become an object by transaction. It is not a transactor also. You cannot transact with adrishyam, agrahyam. It can be perceived, can be grasped. Nor is it a grahaka. It cannot be grasped, nor is it a grasper. It cannot be seen, nor is it a seer. The Atma is that which is different of anything that we know, or anything we can conceive of in our mind. So usually for understanding something, we construct something in the mind to come to arrive at an understanding. Whatever we construct in the mind is going to be dependent upon what we know and what we understand, which is all based on duality and limit. Everything is limited. I am also limited, subject, objects are limited. This is what it is. And all our knowledge and all arguments, all reasoning, everything only comes from this vyavahara, from the life that we are leading. Now you want to make him see something that is not vyavaharya, something that cannot be described by word, can't be perceived, can be object of perception or object, and still you want him to see. So how can you make him see that which is not vyavaharya? You let go if you do. That's the whole idea. Because if you are worried to Satyam, then so Hiranmayana Patrana Satya Sabhitamukam Tattvam Pushanavam Satya Dharmaya Dushtaye. From Satya Dharma, then if Satya is what I am seeking, then when I find something is not Satya, then I let go. That is the whole idea. If happiness is what I am seeking, truth is what I am seeking, vairagya, etc. That after understanding letting go is a very important thing. If you just understand and do not let go, then that understanding is not mature. But anyway, so thus the teacher points out at every stage how your conclusion is not right and provides a method of reasoning where the student can see that my conclusion is not right. But I am experiencing pleasure and I'm unhappy, I'm happy. I experience Vedana, pain, all right. What is Vedana? So how this was a conclusion? And teacher took a long time to trace when the Vedana or pain is involved. What's the locus of pain? And how the perception takes place? Where is it? Is it in you or is it elsewhere? So you can see as a student came up with different conclusions or different notions about himself, the teacher very systematically led him to see in an elaborate manner. And in this particular text, by providing reasoning, the teacher wants the disciple to see that his conclusion is not right and sees. When he sees that he can, if I say you're not right, then yeah, that's what you think. Usually, I don't want to think that I'm not right. But if I'm made to see that my conclusion is not right, then I can let go. So this is called the neti of letting go. Because ultimately the one who lets go is the one. You let go and let go and let go. You know, so tyaja dharmam adharmam cha ube satyanute tyaja. Ube satyanute tyaktva yena tyajasi tatyaja. Therefore let go that by which you are letting go, meaning the latter go is to be let go finally. I can let go whatever is different from me, but I can let go by recognizing that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. Finally, that fellow remains who? The one who is letting go. So that also we should let go. Recognize that even this giver up also is a role. When I identify the buddhi, then I become a giver up. Tyagi. And because the truth happens to be our own self, therefore it is possible to know. There is no other way to know Bhagavan, really. So Mahatma Gandhi, you can never know Bhagavan, right? If Bhagavan is Sabuna Brahma, omniscient, omnipotent, no way anybody can ever visualize it. Sakasya stotavya, kativida gunaha, tasya vishaya. Who can praise him? How many are attributes? So both are not knowable. Neither can I objectify, visualize Saguna Brahma infinite with my eye and my organs of mind. Because it is infinite. Therefore I can't grasp it. And I cannot also visualize the Nirguna Brahma because it is not graspable. Therefore I can't grasp it. Well, you can grasp with a part. So all right, let us start with part of Bhagavan. Pare Tvarvachine, Patadinamana, Kastyana Vachaha. So Arvachinam Padam. A limited Ansha of Bhagavan. That's called Avatara. Let us relate to him. Through that you want to relate to that one, which the avatari. That's right. From avatar, you want to go to avatari, from there you want to go to self. Anyway, but the thing is, so coming back to the whole thing, is that every word creates in our mind a concept. It is always going to be limited because that's what a word can communicate, that's what a word should communicate. So what Vedanta is striving to do is to use a word which creates a concept which is very proximate to the self. Not quite the Atma, but very proximate to the Atma. So which is then that is what is the final concept, is to let go. And what we call the Manishir Avadhi, the one that is the leftover, or the ultimate limit of giving up, is given up, that also is given up. So all of the Swami also say, gaining knowledge is shedding ignorance. What is ignorance? The wrong notion. Ignorance manifests itself as false notions or false conclusions or false perceptions, false opinions. When I recognize the falseness of my opinion, then I can let go, not otherwise. That's what the task of a teacher is in Vedanta. So, ataha kutasthavaya vatavayate. Inasmuch as you are a perceiver who perceives without any limitation, our conventional perceiver, you can illumine, perception illuminate, you can illumine anything, everything, past, present, future, everything, simultaneously. That's the kind of perceiver you are. Because you transcend past, future, therefore. Because Atma transcends all of it, therefore is all superimposed upon there, and adhishthanam therefore necessarily sustains everything, illumines everything. Unless adhishthanam illumines it, therefore you can't perceive it anyway. In that sense, we say that Atma, consciousness, adhishthanam, is asheshataha upalabdehe eva aparinamitvad aparinami. Meaning the need that is there, the conventional perceiver, that perceiver should undergo a change for perception to take place. That need is not in case of Atma, because Atma can illumine without undergoing change. Eyes cannot illumine unless undergo change by assuming the form of an object. Mind can illumine only when mind changes and takes the form of an object. Consciousness does not need to take the form of anything to illumine, because that is nature. These fellows are not illuminated by themselves. The whole thing is, eyes are able to illuminate not because of themselves, because they are empowered to illumine by consciousness, and so the mind. Whereas illumination of consciousness is from self. So that is also a difference. Therefore, you are upalabdha, nitya upalabdha. No, that's a word also. So, finally the word used here is upalabdha to describe Atma. The moment you use a word, then word is going to create a concept. So the students say, upalabdhirnama dhatvatah vikriya eva. Upalabdhi means perception. Perception also is an act. Dhatvartha. It is the meaning of a dhatu. Everything is the meaning of a dhatu anyway. And everything there involves action. The pot also is nothing but the clay in action, you can say. And the word dhatu means verbal root, which means the root of any activity, action. And so you add suffixes and prefixes to a dhatu or verbal root and arrive at a word like upalabdha. So then love means is a dhatu. So love prapto in the sense of attaining. So I got something, getting. So when you add the prefix upa, then upalabdhi, upalav means to pursue. Because the prefixes change meaning or impart their own meaning. Whether they change, the two views, whether they change the meaning or they reveal the meaning, one of the two. But anyway, so Upa does add something to the understanding of the root love. Now also, what the meaning will be, it also is determined by the suffix. Upalabdhi, that T pratyay apply upalabdhi, then also it means the perception. So whether it becomes an abstract noun, upalabdha is perceiver, is an agent. So depending upon what kind of suffix is added, the word will provide different meanings. So upalabdhi means perception. Upalabdha nama dha. So perception is the meaning of a root, meaning of a verb, meaning of involved action. Dhatvartha hai. Artha means meaning. Is the meaning of a dhatu, upalabh, and it all involves that. But then the word denoting kriya. It's a very revealing thing. I guess if you know enough English, then verb also may reveal that way. You want to claim that Sanskrit alone, but then we don't know other languages, and so if you have to know you're a linguist, then perhaps it may be a different thing. But Sanskrit is easier. That's what we like to say. Meaning that, so that word, then Swami always like to say, the word itself reveals the meaning. When you see what suffixes are there, prefixes are there, it reveals the meaning. This perception is a result of an action. Perception takes place as a result of an activity. Of what? Activity of perceiving. So, Upalabdhirnama Dhatvatha. It is a result of an activity. So, perception means an activity. Dhatvatha. What activity? Of perceiving. Vikriya eva. The result of an action, therefore, is Vikriya. It is a special modification. Kriya means an action. Vikriya is special modification. Upalabdhi is a special modification. Depending on what you are perceiving. So perception is a special modification of the verb to perceive. To perceive is a verb, and perception is in this case an abstract noun. But the perception involves activity. You follow? Because to perceive is an activity, therefore perception, the result of that activity also involves an activity, perception. So activity culminates into perception. The activity of perceiving culminates into perception. So here, therefore, to say that this perceiver cannot perceive unless he carries out an activity. Eyes cannot perceive unless they carry out an activity of undergoing a change, then only they can perceive the color. And so the mind. So then every perceiver is known that way. That a perceiver should undergo a change corresponding to what perception takes place. So some vikriya happens. Some change happens as a result of an activity. He carries out an activity of assuming the form of the object of perception, and therefore the perception takes place. So therefore perception is the result of the act of perceiving, and therefore the result is a result of an action. Action always brings about a change, so perception is a kind of change. So perceiver also changes. So how can you say when perception is a change, vikriya, how can the perceiver who is responsible for that vikriya is changeless? Upadabdhu, when I am the agent of the act of perceiving, if perceiving an action and perception is the result of an action, then the locus of that action also has to undergo a change. Usually perceiver undergoes a corresponding change depending on what perception takes place. Should. Yes, eyes should undergo a change. So perceiver should undergo a corresponding change to culminate the action of perception. If this one doesn't change, then perception will not take place. If I don't change, I look at this and sometimes they are like that. You look and don't look also. Something like that. Because change doesn't happen. It's evolving. If that change happens, then you perceive that thing. Doesn't happen, then perception. So perceiver also changes. A corresponding change should take place. That is why upalabdhu kutastada. To call Atma upalabdha perceiver, doesn't matter whatever kind of perceiving is. And then to say to undergo a change corresponding to the object of perception, because that perception takes us as a result of the act of perceiving, and the Atma is agent of the act who performs the act of perceiving. Performing that act, he also should change. So we call Atma Upalabdha, perceiver, and to say that it does not change is something different, which is very good. So the teacher can give an opportunity to now be familiar with a perceiver who does. There can be a perceiver who doesn't say. So that is why examples are given. No dhatvartha vik. So next passage says no dhatvartha vikriyam upalabdhi upacharat. So upalabdhi is an upachara. Perception is upachara. Dhatvartha. What is dhatvartha? To perceive. In the kriya, act of perception. As a result of that, perception takes place. To perceive brings about an act of perception, which because of perception takes place. An eater carries out act of eating, so eating takes place. A goer performs the act of going, so going takes place. There is an agent, there is an action, and there is an outcome, result of the action. Everywhere the kriya is there. Because kriya is involved. Walking is a kriya, eating is a kriya, and everywhere is a kriya pada. Kriya pada means it always involves an action. So to perceive also is a kriya pada. Should involve action. So what happens is the perception, the result of perceiving also should involve a change. But he says no. We say this is the perception where upachara. So upalabdhi upachara, we call it perception. So word perception is used only in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. If you call it perception, illumination. You say eyes perceive or eyes illumine the object. The mind illumines the object. The self illumines the object. So illumination has taken place. To illumine is a verb. And the illumines, illumination takes place. So illumination also should involve a change. Is a result of an action. He says that is generally true, but there are exceptions. So sarvatra mukhya iti nasti niyamaha. That pratyartha karta eva, the tush pratyaya is a sense of pratyaya, is a sense of agency. Like illuminator. To illuminate is a verb. Illuminator is the agent of act of illumination. But there are some verbs where, even though grammatically it would mean that he performs the act of illumination because of illuminator. So eater is the one who performs the act of eating. Speaker performs the act of speaking. So illuminator performs the act of illumination. Says no. There are some cases where no action is involved for the final result to come. The object becomes illumined. That is the truth. So illumination is there. So imagine that the one who illumines carries out an act of illumination, then this is illumined. He says no. There are exceptions. This is not a rule. So GadyaVibhag Kadesh anyway, or Savita Prakash. There is a root called Gad. You don't find it in Dhatu Parva. I could not find Gad. But in dictionary I could find. which means I think the flow and something like that. So some, but then this gad is a dhatu apparently, from which the word ganda is made. Ganda means the cheeks, you know. So ganda is the word derived from the root gad. All verbs are traced to be derived from some kriyapada. So gad is a kriyapada, the verbal root. By adding pratyaya, you have ganda. So gandasthala means his cheeks. So cheek is a word derived from the root gad. That means it involves some kind of an action, you know. But gandasthala doesn't involve any action. So even though the word gandasthala is derived from the root gad, it doesn't involve any action. So therefore the meaning given is gadi vadanai gadeshe. What is the meaning of the root gad? Vadanai gadeshe. One part of the face. So this ganda, the cheeks are one part of the face. There's nose and teeth and all kinds of things are there. Of that, one part is cheek. So gad, which from which the word ganda is derived. So that is all that root does, gad. From the root gad, this word ganda is derived. That's all. What is ganda? Vadanekadesha. Apart. So therefore, the meaning of the root gad is given as Vadanekadesha. Like love prapto. Similarly, gut, so Vadanekadesha. One part of the face, which is the cheek. What action is involved there? So even though gut is called Kriyapada, Kriyapada means a word describing an action. There's no Kriya involved there. So you can call it Kriyapada. So Kriyapada need not necessarily mean action. There is exception here. So by showing exceptions, what the teacher wishes to do is to break our fixed way of thinking. Because there are patterns of thinking, rooted patterns of thinking, and then we think and conclude in a certain way. By showing an exception, then we have to say, wait a minute, there is another way of thinking also. Savita prakashate, that's simple. The sun shines. Prakasha, it illumines. So shining also is an action, illumining also is an action. There's an action involved a part of sun. That means that there is a kriya pada called prakash. Kash, to which the prefix pra is added. But even though it's a kriya pada, does not involve any kriya on the part of the agent. So therefore the sun is agent of the act of illumination. When you say Savita Prakashade, Savita means sun shines. So sun is the agent of the act of shining grammatically. Grammatically in this sentence Savita Prakashate, sun shines. Grammatically sun is the agent of the act of shining. Swamiji speaks. Means what? Swamiji is the agent of the act of speaking. In case of sun, no activity is involved for being an agent of act of shining, because to shine is a nature of sun. Thus, when we are describing nature, even though Kriya Pada is used, I am, So, to be also is a Kriya Pada with the form is I am, present tense. How that I am does not involve a Kriya on the part of I, who is the agent of the act of being. To be is a verb. And so, when I say I am, who am I? I am the locus of or agent of the act of being. What do I need to do to be? Nothing, because that's my nature. So, sarva mukhya iti nasti niyama. Therefore, everywhere this rule that when you apply pratyaya or a to a rule, whatever rule, that an activity is involved always, and then even tush pratyaya is applied, that means an agent of action. There is no rule that even when you apply tush pratyaya, which is the pratyaya or with suffix involving or suffix implying the agency, But that suffix does not create an agency on the sun to shine. Meaning that trish pratyaya is not taken in primary sense. Then it is taken in a secondary sense. So similarly, upalabdha, upalab plus truch. There also like an exception that upalabdha is perceiver, upalabdhi is perception. So perception normally an act which is carried out by the agent of action, but perception is the nature of this perceiver. In this instance of Atma, he is a perceiver of whom it is the nature to perceive, meaning that perception takes place effortlessly, just by being sannidhi. Therefore, no action is involved. So even though Atma can be called, because we use words to describe Atma in some way to make him see. Now in this particular instance, you have to now transcend the conventional way of interpreting a word. The upalabdha is necessarily an agent of act of upalabdhi or perception. You have to transcend that, drop that. Arrival of upalabdha is not an agent, you follow? Upalabdha means the illuminator, perceiver. In that you drop the primary meaning of truth. So know the perceiver who does without the act of perceiving. Meditate on that. From yourself, the act of perceiving you give up. What kind of perceiver remain? You remain just of the nature of perception. This is what the teacher wants to do. Because the student, and like everybody, when you know the meaning of the word, when you know some grammar also, then naturally your thinking is conditioned. Our thinking is conditioned based on our experiences and our reasoning and conclusions. And nothing will apply here. Because Atma is not one of the objects which you can transact with. Therefore, the conventional pattern of thinking has to be dropped. But then I should realize that, that doesn't apply. When will I drop it? I realize that thinking doesn't apply here. Then I drop it. You drop it, then I will not drop. I must see that the way I am thinking doesn't apply here. That I should give that way of thinking to anything. Anyway, so this is how you Bauddha Pratyaya Sadhatvartha. So all right. But some Kriya must be involved because the Kriya Pada. So to perceive is a Kriya. Now perceive that Atma does not perform Kriya, but the perception is a result of a Kriya. Cognition or perception is a result of Kriya, meaning when you see a pot, etc., some Kriya has taken place. On the part of Buddhi to reach out to the pot and then assume the form of the pot and become a Vritti, which Vritti again is element. So Kriya is involved. But you see that Kriya doesn't belong to the agent. It should belong somewhere. Where it belongs to the Vritti. So Bauddha Pratyaya. So Dhatvartha. Atma is not the Dhatvartha, is not the meaning of the word Upalabdha. But the Bauddha Pratyaya, that the cognition which is a state of mind, is the meaning of the word Upalabdha. So Upalabdhutvam, if you want to apply hands, applies to